let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk about something that's both super thrilling and, a little bit intimidating. Hiking all by yourself. We're going to break down 6 expert-backed ways to stay safe out there so you can really truly enjoy that amazing time alone in nature. Let's get to it. But first, let's kick things off with this kind of weird and fascinating term you might have seen floating around online: Alpine divorce. It's not a new thing at all. It actually comes from a short story written way back in 1893. But wow, does it perfectly capture that feeling when your hiking buddy just leaves you in the dust. And what that really drives home is this critical point. On the trail, you can find yourself alone in an instant, even when you didn't plan on it. Of course, not everybody ends up solo by accident. Lots of people actually choose to hike alone, and for good reason. I mean, that time by yourself, just completely immersed in nature, it can be one of the most powerful, most restorative experiences you can possibly have. So that brings us to the big question, right? If you're setting out on your own, whether you chose to or not, how do you get ready for it? How do you make sure you turn what could be a risky situation into a totally safe and deeply rewarding adventure? Well, that's what we're here to figure out. So before we get to the solutions, we really have to get real about the risks. Look, this isn't to scare you, it's all about being prepared. The very first step to staying safe is knowing exactly what you're up against before your boots even touch the dirt. Okay, so the biggest risk is also the most obvious one. There's just no one there to help you if something goes wrong. Think about it. A simple rolled ankle, a sudden temperature drop, running into some unexpected wildlife. Any of those things can go from being a tiny issue to a full-blown emergency in a heartbeat when you're by yourself. Next up is the very, very real danger of getting lost. And this can happen to anybody. Seriously, even super experienced hikers. A trail that isn't marked well, a sudden fog that just rolls in out of nowhere, or even just a quick moment of distraction, that can be all it takes. And when you're solo, you don't have that second brain there to help you figure things out or retrace your steps. And finally, let's talk about gear. You know, when you're hiking with friends, you can kind of spread the load. One person carries the water filter, someone else has the big first aid kit, but when it's just you, nope, you are your own support system. The only gear you can count on is what's literally in your own pack. Calvin Hedgepeth from the American Hiking Society just sums it up perfectly here. It really all boils down to that single point. When you're alone, you have to be your own first responder, your own navigator, and your own support crew, all rolled into one. Okay, so understanding those risks isn't meant to scare you off the trail for good. Not at all. It's meant to get you ready. So let's build your solo safety playbook. We're going to walk through 6 concrete, actionable strategies straight from the experts that will give you the power to hike alone safely and with a ton of confidence. Let's kick it off with the first 3. Number 1, and this is absolutely non-negotiable. Tell someone your exact plan. I mean, exact. Where you're going, which trailhead, the route you're taking, and exactly when you expect to be back. Number 2, check the weather like your life depends on it. But don't just stop there. And number 3, and this one takes some real honesty, pick a trail that actually matches your current fitness level and experience. And that weather point brings up this crucial piece of advice from survival instructor Joe Bassett. He says to use the weather report as a guide, but always trust your eyes more. If the forecast says it's going to be clear skies, but you can see dark, nasty storm clouds rolling in over the ridge, guess what? The clouds win. You have to always be prepared to turn around. All right, the next 3 tips build right on that foundation. Number 4, if you're just starting out with solo hiking, start with busier, more popular trails. There's a huge safety net in just knowing other people are around. Number 5 is to bring the essentials, and trust me, we're going to dig into that in just a second. And finally, number 6, which might just be the most important one of all, listen to your body and listen to your gut. Okay, let's zoom in on this whole idea of essential gear. Because when you're alone, your pack is literally your lifeline. It's the only thing standing between a minor inconvenience and a major emergency. Before we even get to the fancy gear, let's talk water. Calvin Hedgepeth has a super simple rule of thumb. You should be drinking about half a liter of water for every hour of moderate hiking, and even more if it's hot or you're at a high altitude. The key is to drink before you feel thirsty. Seriously, set a timer on your watch if you have to. So here it is, your essential gear checklist. And you know, a lot of these items really serve one core purpose: buying you time. For navigation, don't just count on your phone. A map and compass are your foolproof backup. Your headlamp is so critical because a simple delay can mean you're hiking back in total darkness. And an emergency shelter, that doesn't have to be a big tent. It can be a super lightweight bivvy that weighs almost nothing, but could be the thing that saves you from hypothermia. We've covered the plans, we've covered the gear. But the most powerful tool you have with you is something you're already carrying, your own intuition. This is such an important mindset shift. Your body is constantly feeding you information. That feeling of being tired, that little twinge in your knee, those are not things to just ignore and push through. They're early warning signals. So practice doing a constant mental check-in. How are my feet? How's my breathing? Am I energized or am I feeling drained? That internal conversation is your best guide out there. And this quote from Colvin Hedgepeth just perfectly captures the mindset you need. There is zero shame in turning back. In fact, it's the smartest, strongest thing you can do. A successful hike isn't just about getting to the top, it's about getting home safely. If something feels off, trust that feeling. The mountain isn't going anywhere. See, solo hiking isn't about being fearless. It's about being prepared, it's about being self-aware, and it's about respecting nature. You now have the expert's playbook to do it safely. So the only question left is, where is your next adventure going to take you?